Political commentator Scott Reid with more on the government announcement today, and another key message here about how, look, we understand the pain that's happening here and all the uncertainty, worries about a recession as well. This was primarily aimed at Atlantic Canada, but we've seen it elsewhere as well, Scott.
Yeah, this follows very much on the heels of what the Prime Minister announced last week, with sort of a more comprehensive strategy, broader suite of measures, both for long-term incentives to help survive some of the disruption that's going to occur as a consequence of tariffs, but short-term measures and short-term for support for certain sectors. This feels to me, Todd, like the Prime Minister is now pursuing what we call something of a rollout strategy, where, having taken the big framework announcement last week, he's going to go to different regions. This notice will be flowed through what they call ACOA, the Atlantic Opportunities Agency. I suspect you'll see other regional agencies, other specific sectors. So I think you're going to see between now and, remember, the House resumes next Monday, the Prime Minister will be banging on this drum, showing up in different regions, different parts of the country, in different sectors, and saying, we are here to deliver support. We have your back. We will write checks to help you sustain and survive this disruption.
The other message that we've heard from the Prime Minister, and maybe I can just get you to expand on it, is this idea that, we are in the middle of a trade war. It was launched by President Trump. At the same time, it's important to remember that there are large parts of the economy that are protected from that because they do fall under the trade agreement that we currently have with the Americans, which is still in place, Scott, correct?
Yeah, no question that is accurate, but it highlights how complicated the broad communications challenge for the Prime Minister is. He needs to reassure Canadians that we have privileged access to the U.S. market, at the same time that he says we need to take targeted action for those parts, those industries, those workers who are going to be vulnerable to aggression from the United States. So it is something of, by definition, a mixed message. More than that, all of this, I think, in some ways, Todd, is meant to not just signal we will be there and provide support, but the Prime Minister is also very subtly trying to underline that if you're going to go, voters, Canadians, workers, and assign blame for this, assign it to Donald Trump, because the degree to which there is a challenge that we have to overcome, it originates not in something inherent in our domestic economy, but rather in the actions and the policies taken by Washington.
Hey, here's another question for you. The government is promising a lot of money in support. Where is that money going to come from, Scott?
Well, it's going to come from the federal treasury, and we're already significantly in deficit, and one suspects that the cost of trying to survive this trade assault and restructure for the longer term is going to be significant. Prime Minister has indicated there's going to be a tough budget coming. He calls it an austerity and investment budget. And here again, talk about mixed messages, talk about a complicated communications challenge. He's been saying, we will cut the operations of government, all of the things that we require to spend money on to keep the government going, to sustain regular departmental and operations activities. We're going to try to cut those, winnow those down so that we'll have more to put into emergency relief for tariff and long-term strategies to sustain and build new jobs, new growth. That's the message he's going to try to balance, I think, all the way into the lead up to the House resuming next week, and then all the way into the budget. But it is, as we've underscored over and over, it is a complicated, double-barreled message, and that really highlights the huge challenge the Prime Minister has in front of him.
Scott Reid, political commentator, with his take. Thank you, Scott, for this.
Thank you, sir.